said, we have some very special guests. We have Laban King. How are you doing, young man?
I'm great. How about you?
I am swell. Thank you so much for coming to the studio. We appreciate you actually taking the time and being with Wayne Radio today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.
So we're just gonna get basically right into it. Let us know, how you got started, all the specifics, like, what inspires you, and your goals right now, and projects that are very special to you that you have worked on, and anything that you're working on in the present.
Well, I got started. I guess you could say it's a typical story for most singers who have grown up in urban areas. Got started singing in a church at a young age, but I was always the really shy one in the church choir, so I wasn't the first one to grab a microphone. I was just someone who loved to observe other people and how they delivered songs and how they interpreted different songs. And so because of that, I just kind of like stayed chill, and then I sang, of course, in high school in a very popular city choir in Detroit called Mosaic. And then,
Mosaic!
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah, I was in Mosaic. And after that, did a little singing in college, but not really consistent with it. But I was really concerned about learning the business aspect of the industry.
Exactly.
So I kind of like put my artistry on the shelf to kind of learn the business and to intern at different labels and to also work for other people, as well as to just go to my local bookstore and read books about the industry. And when I was in school, the social networking thing had just became a really big thing, and so it was about learning this new tool that artists had to promote themselves. And so that's what I did for the most part. And then once I kind of mastered everything, and then when I first started, also that's when blogs got kind of like popular. So now that these things are really common, Facebook, Twitter, and these blogs, I now know how to navigate myself with the system so that I can promote myself, as well as Jupiter and any other artists that we have that we'll be releasing. So.
Tell us about Laban King, your name actually. Tell us about that really quickly.
My name, it's a name that my father gave me, and it's, from the book of Genesis. It was Abraham's brother-in-law, Sarah's brother in the Bible, and Laban was a very rich person in the Bible. He did some good, he did some bad, but my dad always told me, because I always wanted to be famous when I was a little kid. He was like, well, you don't need a stage name, because I gave you a stage name at birth. And so,
that's what's up. I like that.
And so it's funny because no one ever believes that it's my real name. So, I don't know why, but if, it's on all my certificates, awards, degrees, you'll see Laban King. You won't see, anything else. It's my real name.
So I actually wanted to touch a little bit about, you said that you were aspiring to be an artist.
Mm-hmm.
You were singing, but you wanted to do it professionally. Mm-hmm. So you started educating yourself in the business. Tell us a little bit about that process, and actually what did you learn and apply it to, and how did you apply it to what you do nowadays?
Well, first I made sure to go to Borders and buy, I had at least, I want to say like 5 books pertaining to the business of music. Mostly all of them were written by music attorneys. Okay. And I remember being actually in the 5th grade buying my first book. And because I was so young, I couldn't understand everything. But my father told me to read it anyway, because it'll be a day in which you will be able to understand. And actually what my dad did was he read the whole book for me, and then he highlighted the things that I needed to read. So when I tried to read the whole thing and it was overwhelming, he then just said, okay, well, just read the highlighted parts. And so I was able to read the highlighted parts and gain understanding through that. And as I got older, I started to understand a lot more. But even to this day, I still revisit those books.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this industry is ever changing, and also just the knowledge needs to stay fresh.
Wow.
But
that's what's up. Like, I commend you, and I commend your father for actually helping you, because nowadays we don't. A lot of the young children, the young kids, don't really have guidance to even go to school. So to help you, you know what I'm saying? Like, to help with the little things is actually, you know, I know it's probably helped you like tremendously, like throughout what you're doing. Right?
It sure has, because, you know, I can sit here today and not be bitter because I've never been done wrong because of the business. The business has been mapped out, and so you know how things are. You know when you get paid, you know when you don't get paid, you know how you get paid, and you'll know these things if you do your proper due diligence and research. But a lot of people walk around with like kind of bitterness towards record labels and executives and other artists as well, because they don't have the basic knowledge that is really available to any and everyone.
Anybody. And it's kind of like, I want to feed off the next person to get to the next point, but in reality, the way you did it and the way that you came about it and the way that you were brought up to do it is actually the way you're supposed to do it. And I love, like, that's like so amazing. And that's what I try to like strive for. I think that's like kind of, you know, the saying of Abina. So I don't know. I'm weird.
That's
but,
good.
Tell me how you describe your sound.
You know, my sound is ever growing. I'm a dancer at heart, so I definitely want my sound to cater to the dance community. But with the release of my debut album, which will be coming a little bit like towards the summer or in the fall, you'll see that the sound is really like vibrant and fun. I want to make sure that it's not restrictive to America.
Okay.
Because you have to understand, I have some amazing songwriters, as well as I'm a great songwriter. But at the end of the day, those lyrics don't mean anything to somebody who can't speak English.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's really about having songs that cater to a crowd that can just get people going and just, you know, make sure that they can at least leave with, you know, the gist of what you're trying to come across with the song. So it's just going to be a really fun, vibrant, I'm at a point right now in my life where I want my music to really reflect my mood, and I'm in a great mood right now. I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing. I'm happy to be doing it with Jupiter. I'm happy to be doing it with Brooks Lane. And so because of that, you know, I don't want to sing no sad songs right now. I have nothing to be sad about right now.
Nice. I like it. So, okay, so tell us about Jupiter. You just brought it up. So, what is Jupiter and how does it affect your career right now?
Jupiter is a revolutionary entertainment company that I was blessed to be introduced to about 2 years ago. Brooks Lane is an executive of the company, and we have other people who are staffed across the country. And it's been a label that's been able to stand on its own as far as its own brand. While independent, we've still been able to do a lot of major things. We've been able to be on Sirius Satellite Radio with my music in the company. We've been able to travel the entire world.
That's even bigger than commercial radio. For anybody who doesn't know.
Yes, we've been able to travel the entire world because of the label. And we've just been able to do a lot of things that, quote unquote, most local artists have not been able to do. And I'm glad that while the label is, you know, independent, we've been able to kind of break those barriers and set an example that, you know, you can be more than what you are supposed to, quote unquote, be. You know, I think that people put limits on who they are or what they can be and what their companies can be because, you know, they don't have this big old name, you know, behind them, backing them with billions of dollars. But as long as you have passion, you have the intellect, as well as you have the talent, then you can really like surpass all the stigmas of what you're supposed to be. And that's what Jupiter has been. Jupiter has been not just a label, but a huge support system to me and to Brooks Lane, as well as to, we've just been a family, and I'm just honored to be signed to a company like Jupiter, because the possibilities are endless with the company.
In my opinion, actually, independent labels, not that, major labels are not the thing that you want to be part of, because, they ultimately make the most money and they get the most, sometimes they get they get more publicity, you know what I'm saying? But I think that independently, labels are more ambitious, they're more consistent, they're more, and it is limitless, like in independent labels, because they want that major label status. You know what I'm saying? But I like what you said, like, and it's important, like, to keep that mentality. But why not stay in your own lane? You know what I'm saying? And just do your own business, create your own.
Well, I think the thing that people also fail to realize is, regardless of whether you want to be a part of a major label or an independent label, as an artist, speaking as an artist, I had to make sure that I was careful as to who I trusted my craft with.
Okay.
And there are so many
That's
artists.
important.
There are so many artists who I know personally who are signed with major labels and who are dropped the next day, who are signed, get albums released, but then the album didn't really go the way that they wanted it to go, and because of it, it was a commercial failure. So I didn't want to be that artist that was signed to, such and such records, which is distributed through whatever distribution company, get one single that kind of makes a little noise, and then next thing you know, 2-3 years later, you don't know where this person is. I don't want to be teased with fame and fortune like that. I either want to go for it all the way.
You create it yourself.
Exactly. And so because of that, that's why I signed with Jupiter, because I knew that they would respect my vision as Laban King, the artist, and as well as they were easy to work with. So I haven't had any issues. Of course, there are some things that, just like any place, we may not necessarily see eye to eye with, but it's never been a point where, it's, oh, I'm not talking to this person or that person. We always sit down and discuss logically things like, well, this is why you should do this, Laban, this is why you shouldn't do this.
Exactly.
And because of that, it's made our working relationship so easy.
Nice. You have a single out, it's called One Chance. Tell me about the production, who wrote the song, and what it means to you, One Chance.
One Chance was produced by one of my favorite producers. His name is JDS. He's from Detroit. And he's with JDS Productions. And it was co-written by a young man named E.J. Wright. E.J.'s first name is Edmund. And One Chance is basically just about, you seeing someone in the club, and you're just asking that person to give you a shot to holler at you. And I think that it's honestly, it's a great message, because so many people are single because we got an idea of who we should be with versus letting God match us up with somebody. And so because of it, it's like, open your eyes to what you may not necessarily want to see in someone, or let me take that back. Like, you shouldn't limit someone because they don't fit your quote-unquote ideal mate. And so that's what One Chance is basically asking. But also, it was a subliminal message, because I'm like, industry, give me one chance.
I was just gonna touch on that real quick.
All I need is the spotlight, and let me work. And so that's what the subliminal message was with that song. And I'm just so blessed at how well it's done and how well it still is doing.
I love it personally.
Thank you very much. Thank you.